Hello everybody and welcome back to Behind the Design. Today we're going to talk about details, the details that really matter for your outdoor living project. Now, have you ever seen a deck, or maybe even had a deck, that when you walked out on it, you saw all the straight lines, hopefully straight lines of screws or nails that are holding the deck boards down? And some of them, did you ever see them kind of wiggle up and you stub your toe on one or you cut yourself on one? Or just looking at them, they look horrible. Right? All these nails or these whatever screws in lines. So when it comes to planning your new outdoor space, we want to eliminate that. You know, with today's technology, we don't have to put up with that anymore. So those days of splinters and constantly bumping into those nails and screws is over. So now I want to show you a system that we like to use. It's a hidden fastening system with our composite deck structures. And well, the nice part about his hidden fasteners is you don't see them, right? There's no screws visible. They're completely invisible. Everything is held down between the boards so that it's a clean look. It almost looks like they're just sitting in place, right? So that's what you can do on a decking surface. You can have hidden clips that live between the boards that hold the boards in place. They're allowed to flex and move if need be based on the weather, but at the same time, they're hidden. You don't see that. There's no nails to deal with. There's no screws. It's, you know, for the look and from the function of bumping your toe against them, all that's not happening anymore on these types of decks. Now, when it comes to staircases, we can't use the same technology to hold staircases in place. And the way you often see it done is with color match screws. So it's a screw with a similar color than the decking, but you don't see any of that here. You see no screws at all, because what we've implemented here is what we call a plug system. So there's, you can see it here. They're screwed down in first, and then a little cap, which is the same material as the decking, is used to fill the hole. So you get a perfectly clean finish, barely noticeable. It's affixed directly to the board, so you don't have to worry about them pulling loose or anything because it is inside the board. The screws down, it lives in the board and holds everything in place. Super important point. Second point here is you can see the butt joint along here. All these ends of these boards have been painted with a special sealer. So we don't have any issue with water trying to permeate into the side. Even though it's composite, it still could be a possibility. It's not a problem here. They're completely sealed off. Take a look over here. You'll see when we're dropping stone in on this outdoor grill area, we did the stone after the decking was done. Reason why you do it after is because you don't have all this chiseled, decking material up against a really rough stone surface. They can bring the stone right down on it, and you can see down the staircase how smooth that transition is between this very rustic material and this very smooth material. Super important piece. You can also see over here, this is a partition board. And what that means is we never run two deck boards together and butt them together, because what happens is they eventually pop up. And when they pop up, it becomes a major problem with stubbing your toe and tripping over it and even peeling the PVC off the top of the decking. This is only a small shell over top. So we lift this partition board up ever so slightly and butt both boards together, and never run two boards together as a butt to butt. It doesn't work because they're going to flare up. So we don't do that. We put a partition board. And what that does, in this case, when it's designed correctly and the detail's right, it almost separates slightly the grilling space from the dining space. And when it's done purposefully, it looks really good. So keep that in mind as you're going. Most of these boards, the max you can get them is about 20 feet. So once you go beyond that, some contractors want to butt them together, but please stay away from that because it looks bad and eventually it's going to fail you. So use a partition board. Another example over here is a nice clean cut on that arch. There's a big round in the front of this structure in order to give us a little bit more of a design aesthetic. And you can see just how smooth this cut is all the way through. You can see here, barely, one of the plugs that holds this custom bent composite decking board in place, and how all these tie in seamlessly to that. Again, this is all in with a hidden fastening system, and this is hidden as well, but it has plugs in it in order to hold it in place. So when you're planning your outdoor space, make sure you start thinking about the details, because that's the stuff that you see once the project is done, and that's typically the things that differentiate different cost structures with different builders, okay? Some builders, if they're contractors, they're out to build you a deck, and that's fine. Maybe they'll use some of this stuff, you know, some of these different things that we're talking about today, but maybe not all of them. But when you work with a designer that understands the aesthetic, that we want these different fastening systems to be hidden so it looks completely effortless, like the material is just sitting there waiting for us to use it. That's where a designer adds a lot of value, because we know how these spaces go together. We know structurally how they're formed. We know the material and its limitations. So it's super important to make sure you understand that as you move forward, so that you can get the best look you're looking for. And again, not just from an aesthetic standpoint, but for long-term durability as well, thinking about picking the right materials to plan the space. So again, details matter, and you're either going to pay for it up front or pay for it over the long term. So most of our clients like to pay for it up front so they don't have to worry about it, and it's done. So thank you for tuning in. Here at Masterplan, we focus on a design-first approach when planning your new backyard to make sure every feature you want fits perfectly and seamlessly ties into the existing architecture, both inside and out. So in this case, thinking about detail is going to be something that's going to really help create a space that you can be completely comfortable with and enjoy for many years to come. So thank you for tuning in. Call us if you're thinking about doing a project. We absolutely love detail, and we absolutely love working with clients who appreciate it as well.